Live. We are going to talk about chickens when they get into your house. What happens when chickens get in your house, Donovan?
Ah, they poop everywhere, and then you step in it right as you're going live. Oh man.
uh, so, so, let me move this here. I got to move some stuff around here. So, are you done doing Christmas lights? Or are you still hanging Christmas lights?
I'm done, but my crew's got about four more jobs on schedule for tomorrow.
Four more jobs. So that's pretty good. It being December 13th, so December 14th, still installing four jobs is not bad at all. And so that's why I wanted to hit on what's next. Some things of what's next of, obviously we got takedown. I know some people that wasn't very smart and they didn't get their money up front. And so them are some issues I've heard some people running into.
Okay.
Some of the people in the South down below us from Kentucky got, obviously their Christmas lights are just gone. But
Yeah.
anywhere within that path, there was a lot blown down, fixed. I know we had a lot of fixes even all the way up here. And I seen some people in the group talking about sending that email out. Those are the little things that I talk about. Just sending an email out, sending a text out saying, "Hey, we know we had bad weather. If your lights need fixed, let me know." And that's huge. That's the little things that set you apart, and that will get you called back next year. Because a lot of people, they won't even come back next year to take down. So those are
Right.
some things that are the little things that can set you apart from your competitors. What do you think about that? You agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you just covered what we could talk about on two or three lives. Setting yourself apart from the customer, and I just saw a post. Somebody was like, "Hey, I used to work for another really established company, and now I cut out on my own. How do you guys get clients?" And I think it boils back down to charging premium and giving premium, right? So we don't just charge a lot of money and then not back it up. What we do is we charge a lot of money and then blow our clients' expectations away, even with the amount of money that we charged them. So yeah, if you're in Kentucky and you got hit with a bunch of tornadoes, then hey, if they still got a house, if they still got trees, go back out there and fix them. Get them all up in time for, I don't care if you did 1,000 jobs, right? Get them all back up between now and Christmas. And what they're going to remember is, and what you can say, you can use that. You can say, listen, we have hundreds of jobs that got damaged. We put in the overtime. We're working, 18-hour days, and we're going to have everybody's lights back up before Christmas. So even though we just went through this huge tornado as a community and it wrecked everything, there's going to be a few of our clients that in every neighborhood that have their lights are perfect, and that's just going to bless everybody. I had a job at an HOA where last year we did a 40-foot tree in a common area, but the common area was right in front of a lady's house, and her sister or her daughter or something had to move in with her because she had a um, something going on with a brain disease where she couldn't function on her own. But every night she came home and and was like, I want to see the lights, and they went on walks every night, and they walked to the common area and stuff like that. So even though it was a year that that family member had a brain issue, what they remembered from it was that every night, they got to go out and see the huge, Christmas tree right in front of their house, the 50-foot tall tree. So, um, yeah, if you guys are in an area that's been affected, just yeah, it sucks, but think about what a positive impact your business could make. And I say focus on that, put in the long hours, and do what it takes. And maybe if you've already done installing for the season, instead of turning into a Grinch, maybe reach back out to some customers who didn't approve and say, hey, we got a few spots left on our schedule, not many, but a few spots. Anybody who decides that they want to go ahead and put up lights, we're going to send 10% or 25% or 50% to a tornado relief, fund for Kentucky. And that would add some more jobs to your schedule. So however you guys want to do it, I think that by charging premium, it allows you to do some amazing things. And then by getting creative, that can turn into a good thing for your business. And yeah, when you do it that way, it benefits your business. So
And somebody was asking in the comments of, should I charge them for that? And that's a big no. That's why we charge premium in the beginning, so that
yeah,
way it takes care of these little service calls. If you're going to nickel and dime, that's more of the leasing or the renting and that kind of stuff,
yeah,
and not a Christmas light service.
yeah.
And they will remember you for coming out there and fixing their lights, versus they will remember you of wanting them to nickel and dime them through the whole process. So,
Yeah, I mean, Jason and I both preach premium, right? And it's one of those things like, look, one year you might have a tornado, one year you might have a bad batch of lights, one year you might have, a hurricane. It's hurricane season too, right? So,
well, didn't you
um,
hear that's what Biden said that went through Kentucky was a hurricane? So,
okay. I don't know. To be honest, not to be a jerk or anything, but I've been hanging lights. I don't really know what's going on besides hanging lights. Um, but maybe we have a snowstorm coming by or something, and some years, you're gonna have to eat it, but then some years everything's just gonna go perfect, and you're never gonna hit a red light, and all the lights are gonna be green, and the stars are gonna align, and your jobs are gonna look twice as good as everybody else's, and and you're not gonna have all those problems that you deal with. So it balances out. Um, but I would really encourage you guys to maybe listen to Fred, Jason, and myself when we give you some advice about, hey, here's what we think's coming up. I think that you should run this type of business model. Um, there are a lot of times there's things that we know that are coming that we're trying to hint towards, and you know, or we have some experience of charging low prices, and we see the struggle behind it, so we found a better way of doing it. And all three of us, we preach, hey, charge premium, right? Charge a premium, give premium quality. Um, and here's one thing that I've done: we go around every night and we take photos and we go ahead and make notes and schedule touch ups for the jobs before the clients even know. So a lot of my jobs, the reason why they look so dang good, it's not because I'm installing them anymore. It's just that I'm finding mistakes before all of my competitors. And look, if somebody else decided to, hire somebody else next door, I'm going to knock on their door and I'm say, hey, I noticed that, you have this issue over at your house. I'm here, fixing the lights that we installed on your neighbors. I'm happy to fix yours for free. I'm not trying to charge you for it. And by the way, here's my business card if you want to, get a quote from us for next year. So there's a lot of ways to give a higher service, and it gives yourself a higher value.
so what's next? What's next is a good theme. This is a good time that obviously we can send out those and get that. I want to hit on it. This here was a pretty good. Dylan did first year and didn't start installing till November 22nd. It just me and one employee, and we did over $20,000. I owe you guys all your help. Thanks. Going to do over 100K next year. And that's the thing that I want to hit on too, is what's next is just start. Start the process, start what you need to do. Start. When you start, things happen. Even now, even if you put up your house or somebody, in next year that puts you way ahead of the game. So when you're ready to hit the game, you're coming in 100%. And Dylan put, I agree. These guys changed my life too. Um, you know, we are going to have some in-person training coming up. We haven't gotten to the part of writing it down and seeing what's going to happen and when we're going to do it, but it will be coming probably in March, when it'll be at Donovan's, March or into March. So, but what do you what? Oh, that's where I kind of went down rabbit trails and went nowhere. But the biggest thing is getting our 5-star reviews. That is huge for us and doing the Google My Business. And Donovan, I know you did quite a bit. How important is Google My Business? How important is posting and posting those pictures and all of that kind of stuff?
Um, it's the most important thing. Period. Um, yeah, Google My Business is the most important for growing your business right now. Not Google Ads, not Facebook ads, um, Google, not signs, not given a job for free and they're going to refer it to all their people. The most important thing for growing your business is Google My Business. Um, I did the numbers on paid Google Ads and it was a break even for me this year. So I ran the numbers. Now I'll run them again towards the end of the year, but I think after the week after Thanksgiving or something like that. I think I ran all the numbers and for what it cost me to run the ad, pay for ad spend, and then I paid for somebody to manage them. But even if I didn't pay for somebody to manage them, I wouldn't have gotten a 2x or a 3x return on Google Ads. But having a well-developed Google My Business in an area that people are searching for Christmas lights already. So if you have one or two people in your city that put up professional Christmas lights, then Google My Business is the most important. If you don't have anybody in your area, um, I would say the most important thing would probably be yard signs. And so it's quite honestly, it's probably too late to get new business. I would probably do Facebook groups and yard signs. Um, but if we're talking about, I think Jason and I are really going to start transitioning, right? We're going to transition from how to get business to what do you do with your business right now? Do you put it on hold till next September, or where are we going on? Where are we going from here? Um, and I would say you keep working that GMB, Google My Business GMB. That's an acronym for it, but keep working that. You need to be having posts every day, posting pictures, making actual posts every couple of days. We're getting over 100,000 interactions a month on our Google My Business. 100,000. Um, So that's what I would say. You want to now go through and you want to follow up with all your customers. Hey, I want to make sure that you're really happy with what's going on. I want to make sure that if there's any touch-ups needed to be happen, that will come out because we're not doing any touch-ups after the 24th of December. And then, oh, you are happy. Here's a link to my Google. Please leave me a 5-star review. So that is what we should be doing right now. Now, at takedown, we need to start planning out our takedown. What are we going to do for storage? How are we going to label our lights? Where are they going to go? What order are we going to do everything in? Where am I going to put my wreaths? How am I going to test my lights and make sure that they're working? Can I do any repairs right now? So we need to start planning all of that out. And then in January, we're obviously going to do all of our takedown. We need to store our lights so that there's no moisture trapped in there. And then we need to go ahead and get all of those clients signed up for next year. So we start doing that in January, right? So in January at takedown, hey, we got all your lights takedown. We don't know what's going to go on with shipping and with labor and stuff like that. It was a big struggle for us in 2021. Would you like to reserve your spot for 2022? Yes. Okay. Would you like to pay a 50% deposit or would you like to do a monthly payment plan? What works best for you? And go ahead and get them locked in now for next year. And we start doing that in January.
And that's important because somebody put, "Are you worried about economy crashes?" And you can do doom and gloom, and I've seen a lot of people do doom and gloom last year, because they didn't know. And I'm sure people didn't buy inventory for this year because they were worried about dooming. I know it for a fact. There was big guys that did not buy normally like their big buys in the beginning of the year, and they waited till the end of the year, and then they were scrambling at the end of the day. And and some of that is why the supply shortage was short on some of the littler guys, because the big guys didn't do a big buy, and so they filled up their orders and didn't fill up everybody else's orders. Obviously,
Yeah,
Donovan's crew didn't do that, but other people in the industry did do that.
yeah, absolutely. But let's take a look at it this way. If you get all your lights down by the 15th and you collect 50% deposits, so 50% of what you just did, you get paid that again in January. So if you just did 500,000, then you get another $250,000 in January. Go ahead and buy the lights. You know what I mean? Go ahead and buy your lights for next year. Go ahead. That is a contract. And here's what I found. When people pay that 50%, or they even pay that 10% a month, whatever it's going to be, um, they are going to have you put up lights come December. They're
Yep.
not going to say, "Hey, I lost my job. Let me get a refund." They're going to say, "Hey, I lost my job. I'm so glad I've already paid for this. This is one thing. We might not go on vacation. We might not do, presents for all the in-laws or whatever, but we're gonna have our lights put up, and we're gonna make this a special time for my family." Right? So um, that's being a blessing and thinking ahead. And again, by doing that, you're providing that higher premium value for your clients. But let's say you don't plan ahead. Let's say you're like, "Oh, I don't know what the economy is going to do, so I'm not going to take any money. I'm not going to buy any stuff." And then your clients, want you to put up lights, and you don't have good quality lights to put them up. You know what I mean? What if all the lights that you have get ruined? What if a tornado comes through, right, in your storage unit, and poof, there go all of your lights, and you don't have anything ordered. You know what I mean? Then you don't have money to do, and you're gonna have to cancel Christmas on that person. So, don't be afraid of asking that. If you are a responsible business owner and you know that you're not gonna just peace out on your clients, then go ahead and get them signed up on a contract. Go ahead and get a deposit. And hey, buddy, I'll say hi. And go ahead and go ahead and get everybody signed up for next year.
And
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 look, if you end up selling your business, now you got contracts in place that makes your business more valuable.
and here's the other thing. We can worry about doom and gloom all day long, and I'm not saying not to worry about it at all. But I'm saying, we can't sit there and worry about it so much that we don't move forward. I know that I was reading a thing the other day talking about the economy and the housing market. And the housing market is supposed to be right now be crashing like no other, because there was a 500,000 people, or how many ever, took the thing. But now it's down to like 100,000 houses that haven't done the mortgage thing. So that whole crisis that everybody thought was going to be a crisis wasn't nothing at the end of the day. So, just some things that you can look at. You got to keep looking forward and keep your head down, and keep moving forward. Um, John Henry said, "Do you do?" And it is Google My Business, but they've actually changed the name of it of Google Profile. And do I need to do one for Christmas lights? And I would recommend to do one for Christmas lights and one for pressure washing if you can do both. It actually is better for you to do one of each. So
Yeah, absolutely. It maybe not your very first year in business, but if you're going to do it for next year, go ahead and start it now. Go ahead and add the photos. Go ahead and make your posts. Go ahead and start building that up. Go ahead and get a few customers. Put some lights up for St. Patrick's Day. Put some lights up for Cinco de Mayo. Put some lights up for whatever. Um, and put some lights up for the 4th of July, and get some reviews. Go ahead and get 30, 40 reviews before before next Christmas time, and then you'll be one of the highest ranked businesses for putting up Christmas lights. Um, and here's what Google will tell you. Go ahead and read it, and it says right there on there that that the businesses who have recent photos added to their profile get recommended more. It says it right there on there. So go ahead and schedule all those posts. Go ahead and schedule all the photos to be added, and then make sure you're tagging them. And like I said, you'll get a tremendous amount of business. I said that last year to a gentleman named Ryan in Charlotte, and he picked up $60,000 his very first year in business, and that's all he's done really. And then he did right at a little shy of $200,000 this year as his second year in business. So All right, go ahead and hop in.
Jason put had some Yahoo vandalized my Christmas lights, came out right away, fixed it. One little repair turned into a post from the customer that got us 10K in business that week. And that's
There
the
you go.
importance. And then the sign guy says, "Come on, everyone knows signs are the best." So Paul Gardner is out of up in Virginia. He's a big sign guy. I've been trying to get him to come on one of these lives, but he won't come on one of the lives because he's always busy. So,
Paul doesn't like for anybody to succeed. He just hoards all the knowledge. He doesn't help anybody. That's
and if they do start getting bigger, he goes and buys them out. So,
I think he vandalizes their business. Paul's just, I don't know if we want Paul on here. Look, no, Paul's a great guy. Paul's the guy who came to training because he just needed to know the techniques of hanging lights. He learned that and he was going to be successful. He could start a plumbing business tomorrow and he's going to be successful. Um, that's something, that he'll even tell you. Look, it took him a day to learn how to hang Christmas lights. Um, he brought an employee with him, and now his employees trained other people. So the thing that really counts and the thing that really makes the money is the business, right? So that's why we talk about business so much on here. It doesn't matter if on the photo behind Jason if there's a bulb at the peak or not. I would be interested, Jason. Is there a bulb at the peak on that one?
nope. The small one is, the big one is not at the very peak.
Uh, did they pay? Did the check clear?
Nope.
Nope. Free job,
Yep.
doing God's work. Um, Look, and I think the one thing that a lot of guys miss out about is like, how unprofessional was it that I just had my kids jump in on here on the live, right?
That's about as unprofessional as not having a bulb up there at the top of the peak
Look, why do we do this? You know
for
what
our
I mean?
kids and our family.
For kids, family, church, for our beliefs, this is why we do it. This is why we're talking about all the business. When we talk about charging premium, it's not just so that we can line our pockets with cash. You know, Jason, you just went to, I saw this week, you posting about your daughter riding a horse, and I think somebody else did dance lessons on a stage, right? Or you know what I mean? Jason's always doing something with his kids. I mean, always. Um, I got my dogs in the photo. I got kids. We build business around kids and family, and that's why we do it. I think it's important to keep that in mind. Um, Now, look, if you're looking to do something year round, right? Don't quit on your business right now. Bring it to completion. Take down the lights, get them stored properly. Don't just half-ass it. Get them done properly so that next year you can be productive putting them back up. Get your reviews, get your deposits, and then you can move on to your next business model if you want to. You can do power washing. Jason has power washing classes. You can do landscape lighting. There's a guy named Ryan Lee who's putting on some landscape lighting training. There's many other things that you can do and apply the same principles to it. And
There's also
we're
gutter
happy to
cleaning. There's a couple gutter cleaning stuff coming out. That's a business that's very viable. Actually, I was talking to a guy about that's in Alabama, and I'm like, this is the time for people that'll clean out gutters. This is your all's gutter cleaning season. December, January, February is this people in the South there, and so those are some things that you can be very successful. How much money have you made off of gutter cleaning at the end of the day?
Oh, we made just as much money as we made hanging lights, right, this year. So we make millions of dollars cleaning out gutters. As soon as we're done taking down lights, we're going full throttle into gutter cleaning. So we have thousands and thousands and thousands of clients who have us do gutter cleaning. And quite honestly, we can market anything to those clients, and we stay busy 12 months out of the year. So um, you can pick any service, whether it's solar panel or cleaning or anything like that. You could do anything you want. It doesn't even have to be a service business. I know Fred Zimmerman. He is if COVID wasn't here, he's going around and he's doing mission trips for the rest of the year. Um, but with COVID, he's going to have to go do some other stuff. But yeah, it's all about what you guys are into. If you want a year-round business, you're happy to go do that. If you're going to have a standalone Christmas business, you can go ahead and start marketing to commercial clients. So go ahead and make a list of all the churches, make a list of all the standalone buildings, all the doctor's offices, all the restaurants, anything like that. you can reach out to all those. You can reach out to
You can do LinkedIn. You can do all that stuff right now. You can do that in January, February, March, April, and so then the time comes around, you can do email marketing, and then when the time comes around, then there because a lot of your big commercial work is coming in January or in June, July, and August because that's when a lot of your HOAs are starting to figure out how much they have in their budget and for Christmas lights, and so that is your big time ticket. And I know this past year people were closing jobs early. People were closing jobs in as early as April and May and June. People were calling for Christmas lights, and so you might not think that, but it really does. At the end of the day, it always works all year long. And if you do have Christmas light business and you have other services that you offer, then you can reach back to your Christmas light customers and do that. And that's one thing. I actually got a message today that they did Christmas lights this year. They did all right. They didn't kill it, but the business overall, I think, was about $250,000-$300,000 this year. They just got a signed contract for $500,000 for a painting contract for this. This all started last year. He started a pressure washing business of business cards that he didn't even like. He told me, he's like, it all started off a business card I wouldn't even hand out today. He handed that business card out. He went and it was his very first house wash that they did, and he ended up doing over about $100,000 washing for this dude, and now he just turned a $500,000 paint contract that's be profitable of about $300,000, and so you never know what business card you give out, what sign you might put out. You never know what the lifetime value of that one customer may be. And so a lot of people, don't realize that and won't pass out a card or, like I said, he said the business card he handed out, he wouldn't even hand it out today. And we worry about it's got to be perfect. It's got to be all of this stuff. And at the end, it's not. And who I'm talking about is Savannah and Andrew that came to our class that did our marketing or did our class. So you never know what you might run into at the end of the day by that one business card, that one LinkedIn connection, that one Facebook connection, that one networking meeting connection. You never know how much that lifetime value of that customer may be. Donovan is the king of networking in person. He's got a lot of networking groups or not networking groups, but he's very extrovert, and he's just out there all the time and he's everywhere, and he's very good at networking. And so if you're good at that, then there's some things that you can do to help you.
absolutely, absolutely. Don't take time for your family, but don't just shut down your business till next September. That's a massive point. Even if you're going to switch over to doing a different business model, that's perfectly fine. But don't just shut down completely.
I know this is the one thing he said. He did a Harry Potter theme. So that's one thing that I watched Donovan. He did a lot of different things. Actually, I shouldn't say Donovan did. His wife did a lot of bidding on different things of looking really good. And I think that is something that sets you apart from a lot of other people because a lot of other people don't do different colors a lot of times. And I know you do a lot of warm white. But your wife gives a lot of options of, the red, green, or the different things that set you apart at the end of the day.
Absolutely. And here's the thing: when you're
And,
reaching
and,
back
and
out to
before
your
I get on that, I want to hit on one other thing. Your wife also calls them different things. And so that kind of makes people feel special that I got the gingerbread, whatever. You know what I mean?
yeah. So we have red, red, green, green, which is Holly Jolly Christmas. You can't just call it Holly Jolly or I don't know. She has a special name. I probably messed that up. You got your multicolor. She's laughing at me right now. You got your classy Christmas, which is your red, white, green, white. Repeat it. So white bulb in between. So we got a few different colors like that. And we got some names to it. But again, use that in your marketing. So come January, if you want to go ahead and collect some deposits. Use that for reaching out to your clients and say, hey, we wanted to confirm your design for 2022. If we need to order any, any special bulbs or anything for switching up your color pattern, we need to do that now. So we need to lock in your design. So you can use that to your advantage again to accomplish your next goal. Um, and you put 5 or 6 photos attached to that email with some different color themes that they can pick from. And a lot of your clients are going to be like, no, I want the same. Or some people are like, oh my gosh, that looks amazing. I want to do the candy cane theme, or I want to do Holly Jolly theme next year. Oh wow, those bushes right there looked amazing. I want to make sure I add that. Those columns look great. Let's do that. Let's do this tree. Let's outline the sidewalk. So when you're reaching out to clients and not just trying to make a sale, you're trying to like add value to it. You're doing things that other people aren't doing, and it's accomplishing that next goal of trying to get those deposits for next season.
Um,
Yeah, and Gracie told me that you can also do the roof line. You can also decorate the roof line.
yeah, Uncle Ryan did that because Daddy don't do too much of that. So, so
I did my last tree today. It
did
was
you?
um it was a unique tree. I'll post some photos of. Girl, your hair's a hot mess. Um, but it was trunk wrapped in blue, and then we had some warm white spritzers go kind of up in the canopy of this. It was like a Japanese maple tree. It looked really nice. I'll post some photos of it later for everybody. I'll post them in the Christmas Light Contractors group on Facebook. I'll post some photos there.
Yeah, and the description, there's a link down below if you need to find it easy. This is a good question for you. How do you exactly measure and give estimates?
Well, we don't do it exactly. We do it almost exactly, right? So we're not going out there in person measuring or anything like that. We go into a lot of depth in this when we do our in-person training. And look, we are going to come out with it, but we're going to have an online university as well. We'll go into depth quite a bit on the online university as well. So keep looking out for that. But there's a couple of different ways you can do it. The first one is have the homeowner send you a photo of the house, and you can say a garage door, double garage door, 16 feet wide. Hold up a little piece of paper, and then you go around. You say 16, 16, 16, 16. And kind of add it up that way. Or you can use Google Maps and do the aerial view and kind of use the measuring tool. You can go to the county website and see if they don't have a blueprint of the house on the county website. So there's a bunch of different ways to do it that way.
Yep. Good point. Good point. I saw you have a boom fan. Is it practical as I think it would be? I don't know if you're still muted or not.
A boom truck? Yeah, I mean, I have a bucket truck. Fred does a lot of the. I think he has two vans. I have a big old truck that I use. But here it's not very practical for putting up residential lights, but for doing like that, it works. The issue with the residential is that you're going to be driving all over somebody's yard, and you can't get to the house with the lift. So if you're going to be doing the lift for installing, you need to make sure that you have access to it. If you're going to be quoting trees that you need a lift to, one of the most important things is like, is there $100,000 worth of landscaping in the way? Well, if that's the case, then you can't get the lift close up to the house.
I think too, it's one of those things. A lot of times, a lift is mainly going to. I mean, I know some people that use a lift because it is safer. A lot of times, you're taking a lot of risk out of it. You're adding time to a job install, obviously, but it takes a lot of risk out of it. But the thing that the van, the trucks is, especially if you specialize into the tree side of things. You really do. You're hitting those 50-foot trees. You're doing wraps, inner wraps, and you're making them look amazing. That is when a bucket truck or a van or a lift or any of those things are really will set you apart and make it look really good at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean it's a tool that's definitely going to be, we want it in our toolbox, but we're not breaking it out for every job. It's more of a specialty tool. Um,
And that's the thing, you can specialize in trees. We know people that do a lot of trees, and a lot of times that's when you're going to hit your $20,000 installs, and some of those bigger installs, or a $5,000 install on a tree. But don't think you're going to get that right out of the get go. You're going to have to do a lot of the trees, a lot of, like Donovan did there for a while, at cost, because he liked to doing them, and he would spend 8-10 hours a day and get paid $3,000-4,000 out of it. But it makes good for really good pictures, and there is some people that just want that. At the end of the day, that if you can show that you can do really good, they will end up buying it at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. But if you're just starting out, then you know, bucket truck, no, that's not what you need to be focusing on. Focus on the basics of a roof line, kind of the front roof line at the gutter level, or the rake, which is the eaves, whatever. So the eaves and the gutters, focus on that. Focus on some wreaths. Focus on doing some mini lights, maybe on the columns or bushes, or just the basics. And then if you want to test out a tree or two, then go rent a lift. Rent it for a day, rent it for a couple of days, and see if it's everything you thought it was going to be. See if it adds the safety. See if it doesn't. But I would say, that's not going to be that's not the magic. That's not the secret ingredient of making this business successful.
Yeah.
The secret ingredient is doing the simple, repetitive line items that make the biggest impact, which are exactly what's behind Jason, right?
C9s,
Jason
C9s, and cement.
C9s, a couple of mini lights on the columns, but look, Jason didn't rent a lift and wrap that what's called a steeple. He didn't wrap that thing 100 feet up in the air with a 200-foot lift. That's not what made this job. And it looks really nice. And the church would have probably paid for that. You know what I mean? He doesn't need to have a lift to do that. Just a ladder, or do it from the roof with a little bit of safety equipment. This is a basic job that looks professional. It's custom to that building, but it's not like a one-off type deal.
Yep. Let's go down this road about what's next. Donovan, are you guys going to try to sell any slow twinkling or fading minis next year?
Quite honestly, we'll probably get a few containers of different mini lights next year. The specialty type mini lights are, we get a couple of pallets of them here and there. But we don't get like, containers and containers of those things. So we had these mini lights this year that are champagne colored, and they had a strobe like every fifth bulb. They gave it a really nice effect. We have some videos of it on our YouTube, but we don't get very many of those. At the end of the day, what we try to do is get the products that the vast majority of people are going to want for their installs, and that the vast majority of your clients are going to want at their houses. So, again, we're trying to talk the difference between a specialty item, a one-off item, and what we're trying to do at every single job. So what we're trying to import is just, the biggest bulk of what people really need, and try to save you guys a little bit of money on that. And if you have to shop somewhere else for those specialty items, I mean, we're okay with that, and we'll definitely, save you some time and money on the core items.
So, what's your magic ball looking like for stuff for next year?
Labor, right? That was a very good lesson that I already knew, that was taught to me again this year. I preached it there for a little while. I got hung up on the material side of things there for a bit. But your business is, it seems like a struggle between materials and labor. And we personally didn't have any issues with jobs or anything like that. We raised our pricing up to 10, 12 bucks a foot. Some jobs were like $20 a foot. It just kind of depended. But we got paid really good for the jobs that we did, even though some people in my city are charging $3.50 a foot. You know what I mean? So that wasn't the issue. Our biggest thing is labor. And I think going into next year, depending upon your area of the country, that's also going to be the thing to focus on, is labor. We're definitely going to have some material. I think the material pricing and the shortages are going to be very similar to what it was this year. I don't think that's going to get fixed anytime soon. Um, so I will tell you what we're going to do for my personal business, right? I run a exterior cleaning company year round. Um, I have at least two additional crews that we've already hired and are going to do work year round for us, and then those crews are going to get split in half. We take one person with a lot of experience and we stick them with one or two helpers. So we never stick two or three experienced people together. Um, so we're going to be able to split our crews and definitely hit our $1 million goal for next year. So that's going to be my path, and we're actually looking really good. I'm the type of guy that I kind of thrive under pressure. If things are going real easy, I got a tendency to lay back and take a nap and slack off. But sometimes though, when there gets a little bit of pressure put on me, um, what I try to do is I try to solve the problem and solve the next problem. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. I think things are going to look really good. And just as an insurance policy, we're going to go ahead and make a real big, real heavy push in January and going into the beginning of February. Make sure we get in touch with every client, get them all signed up for 2022. That's sort of our insurance policy. Um, and then also, that money essentially pays for the bills for the entire year going into the next Christmas light season. So if something does happen, I've already gotten all the bills paid for, and now essentially I got a year to figure out a solution. If the economy takes a crash or whatever, we get another shutdown or quarantine or whatever, it gives us a little bit of a safety net to figure things out.
No, that's a good point. I like that. I do think labor is going to be an issue next year. Just as I know it was an issue this year. I think it's going to be just as much next year, if not more. And I do think that it's like anything in the service business. If you're willing to answer your phone and have a halfway of customer service, you can do whatever you want at the end of the day. People will pay you to show up. People will pay you to answer your phone. And that's the ticket to it. And trying to get labor is not always easy. And if you do have another business, then that does help you. And that's part of growing a pressure washing business. Growing a pressure washing business not only to get you off the truck, but it also can help you grow your Christmas light business. Rather you're doing pressure washing, gutter cleaning, any of those things, and any of those things, it all comes down to premium pricing. People are willing to pay premium pricing if you're willing to show up and do the work. You're willing to show up when you say you show up. You answer the phone when they have issues. You answer the phone when they call you. And people will pay premium pricing for that. If you go above and beyond the people like that, they're blown away at the end of the day, and they will pay lots of money for that service to that. And when they do that, that allows you to pay for employees. That allows you to have employees and pay them a living wage. And I'm not just saying a living wage to say a living wage, but a good living wage. Something that they can
Yep.
go and make a living. I'm not even talking $15, $20 an hour, Harley, right now. You're going to have to start paying more. Most anybody can go to Walmart, McDonald's, anywhere and make $20 an hour starting out of the get go. So if you're trying to go in and be the $99 guy or $199 guy, you're going to be left out and you're going to be stuck of not being able to, get good employees and keep them.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about charging premium pricing, but let's also talk about giving an employees a premium job. You know what I mean? How do you get the best employees in the world to come and work for you? You know what I mean? Elon Musk, he said when he started SpaceX that the good engineers wouldn't work for him, and the bad engineers you don't want to hire. So he was the chief engineer and designed the rockets, and the first two or three of them blew up, right? So if you're building a business, if you're building SpaceX, how do you get the best engineers in the world to come work for you? Which now they all do. They all work for Elon, the best in the world, right? So how do you get the best employees in your area to come work for you? You got to pay them good. You got to give them good opportunity. You got to treat them well, right? You can't be an asshole. Um, but let's look at it this way. If you are just going to hire part-time people, or you hired a ton of part-time people, if you can't afford to keep a receptionist but 10 hours a week. How good of a quality receptionist do you think that you're going to have when she's spending, 2/3, or she or he are spending 2/3 or 3/3 of three quarters of their time working for another business selling plumbing jobs when you're doing Christmas lights? You can only get so good of a quality people when you don't give them the opportunity to work for you full time and put 100% of their effort behind what they're doing. So that's a big part of what we're focusing on is people this year. I think that's the number one thing. I hired 25, 35 people the last few weeks. I didn't hire them. I gave them all a test run, and I know my laws and everything like that. You need to know the difference between a 1099 employee and a W-2 employee. So I treated them a certain way so that I could legally hire them as 1099 employees. I got them to sign W-2s, or I got them to sign W-9 form and invoicing me on each payday. You don't tell them what time to show up. You can tell them what time you're getting started, but you're not telling them what time to show up, when to clock in, when to clock out, when to take. You got to treat them like a 1099. But I went through 25 to 35 of those guys to find three of them that are still with me, and really, that's really one really good guy, and I got another guy who's kind of he's going to be a ground guy, so it's not ideally what I'm looking for. And the really good guy actually brought his roommate, so he turned into two good guys. So I didn't even find him, right? He's just kind of after the fact. But essentially, it took me going through 25, 30 guys on a trial run basis to find one good worker who has really high potential. Now, if I went through all that effort to find him for the Christmas light season, and now I can't keep him busy next year, guess what? I just got to do the same thing next year. You know what I mean? And so it cost me paying. I had to pay thousands and thousands of dollars to 25 to 35 guys for a couple of weeks to find one good one. Or, once I got that guy, what would it cost me to retain him? If it cost me $20,000 to find him, why the hell would I not have work for him throughout the rest of the year? Because I could probably pay him $800 to $1,000 a week to work for me, and then he could actually produce an income for me throughout the whole year, right?
Yep.
So these are all things to think about, and then getting when you get those nice, good quality people, you're not running a daycare, and you feel better, and you can treat people better, and you don't have to focus on is he going to show up today or not. It's like, hey man, you can say, look, we normally do 20,000. If you hit 25,000, we'll split the additional $5,000. You know what I mean? You can have guys that are overachievers instead of is he going to show up today or not. It's a whole new way of running a business when you don't have to babysit all the guys working for you.
But that ain't no fun. Um, Jose put yard signs work, had so much work I had to drive around and take them down. And when I say a lot of times that is charge more, raise your
Yep.
Prices. When they call, be like, hey, my minimum's $2,000. If they say yes, then you're $2,000 ahead. A lot of times this happens if you're especially too cheap and not charging enough. So make sure that I agree that yes, I understand sometimes you got to go take them down because you get so busy. But I also understand a lot of times that we're charging not enough, and that makes us too busy of low-paying jobs at the end of the day. Where hey, you know what? We're $10 a foot. Yep, I can do that. Our minimum's $1,500. I heard a lot of people this year that their minimums went to $1,500, $2,000 was their flat minimum. That's what they were telling customers to hey, our minimum is $1,500. You either yes or no. If you say no, then we go on to the next one. And it's not none of this. It's $1,500. You want us? Yes, no, maybe. All right, move on to the next one.
Absolutely. Right. And let's talk about that for a second, though. You had so many people calling you in. Um, do you have a CRM system? Did you capture every single one of those people? Because every single one of those people live in a house because they're calling you to hang Christmas lights. Okay. They live in a house. Are you offering other services? Are you doing landscaping? Are you doing gutter cleaning? Are you doing power washing? Um, maybe you got an opportunity to extend your lighting season to other holidays. Maybe you can offer $1,000 or $500 birthday lighting package for the backyard or something like that. Every single one of those people that called you, um, you got an opportunity to cross sell, upsell, downsell them a different job. So I hope you captured their name, address, phone number, and email address so that you can keep marketing to them. You know, there's no such thing as overselling, but there's definitely something called you know underselling or just blowing off clients. I mean, I would spend the money and hire new receptionists or hire new salespeople and try to land a higher paying ticket than just blow off or turn off the marketing. The whole point in marketing and Christmas lights, one a huge value there is that you can get thousands of people to call you off those yard signs for very little money, and you can capture their information and retarget them throughout the whole rest of the year for additional services or for booking next year. You know what I mean? Why just turn off the phone? Those could be 2022 clients. You can start calling every single one of those people back in January the 15th and start booking them for next year. So never, quit that lead flow. That's some people right now are banging their head against the wall because they can't get 10 people to call them.
Yep. Um, this is a funny one here. Almost backed out of Christmas lights this year because I had no help. Ended up doing 7 jobs this season just on the weekends with help of a buddy. Definitely switching to LED lights next year. That's called charging up this year, and you charge that $8 to $10 a foot, and you buy good commercial grade lights because those LED or those non-incandescent lights are probably not going to work next year because by the time you take them down, they're all going to be broke.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Hey, check out christmaslots.io. It's in the top of Jason's thing over there. Wait. Oh, over
Yep.
there. Christmaslights.io. That's going to bring you to my website. Yeah, there you go. Thanks, Jason, for the help. You waited for me to struggle until pointing it out. Um, and try to get some research into what is professional grade versus what's store grade versus in LED versus incandescent, because just LED from the store, like, that is not the same as what Jason has in the photo right behind him. So spend this year, and because you did do 7 or 8 jobs, that's perfect, man. You jumped in, you figured it out, you learned some lessons, and then that way next year you can go professional grade, and you could just go all out and really blow this thing up next year. I don't know how much you charge, but let's say you average 2 grand a house, so you made 15 grand this year. Next year you can make 75, 80, $100,000, no problem. And it could change your life.
Yep. I know there's a lot of people that have done very well this year. So awesome, man. We will be getting dates together sometime or another. I'm actually going to be at BBB this week. And so hopefully we can get some dates for March and all of next year when we're going to have some more Christmas light training. I know we will be having technician training. I actually had a guy message me wanting technician training for the pressure washing, so we'll probably do that also at Donovan's place because the way we do it down there is a little bit easier than when I do it by myself. Or usually it's one day, or with Donovan it's 3 days because marketing is in the middle. Christmas lights is on one day and pressure washing's on the other day, and that way we can get a full 8 to 10 hours. Usually it's about 10 hours of nothing but marketing and how to run a business. And it's just a lot of information. It's a fire hose of information. But that's why we do it. And we've had 2 very successful businesses. We've had several successful businesses come out of that training. So definitely keep looking up for that. Because we do not teach this. We did mostly trees and charged $100 per tree and had one client pay us back for the lights. Because we tell our most trees we're charging a lot more than that, $40 a foot. 10 foot's $400 for a little 10-foot tree, not $100, because this is not how we run a business. How we want to run a business is, making sure that we're profitable at the end of the day.
Yeah, I'll post a photo of the last tree that we just did, and it was 8 strands of mini lights and 10 spritzers, and it was probably close to $1,000 for this tree. and you didn't even need a ladder to wrap the tree. You know what I
How
mean?
do you
It's
sleep at night? How do you sleep at night? We're just raping those people.
I can afford a very nice mattress. I sleep very well.
Lauren is the
I got
one that
I got
should
the
be.
special foam mattress with the cooling gel and all the latest technology, man. I sleep like a baby, and my wife can't keep her hands off me, man. She's happy too. So
And
I
how
sleep
does
very
Lauren?
well.
I know how Lauren does it, but how do you not add extra stuff that Lauren has sold a boatload of money for?
I'll be honest with you. Very seldom do we go out there and sell more stuff because my wife gets every penny from them that they can afford to spend. Now, every now and again, what we'll do is if I'm on site and I'll do something that'll kind of make my job a little bit easier. Um, like I had this one neighborhood where somehow they got the front of the house approved, and then they also got the back of the house approved, and it was probably 3,000-4,000 bucks for both of those. But there was a 40-foot stretch on the side on one side of the house, and I told the client, I said, hey, I could do this one side of the house for 250 bucks. Now look, I was already going to have to run a wire from the front of the house to the back of the house to get them all to come on at the same time. I might as well just put lights right there as opposed to running a wire and get paid a little bit extra. So,
So you
you
should have
know,
told the boss lady that, and she probably could have sold that for another $1,000.
So, my upsells, right? So, and we our process, like I really, we're already going on for an hour. I could spend a week talking about how we're quoting them and stuff, but we go into depth in our in-person training. We spend a ton of time on this, and the way Jason does it works really, really, really well, and the way that I do it works really, really, really well. And we've taken a few things from each other and we've changed a little bit, but we mainly do it the same way. But there's just a few different differences. But both of us we do it slightly different. It's still very profitable. I don't do a whole lot of upselling in person. I don't even think Jason does a ton of upselling in person. We basically over the phone with the photo get all of this stuff approved. Before we even show up, we just show up and we work. Every now and again, we might add a couple wreaths or do an extra bush or something like that. But we're not spending a ton of extra time at that job. We're putting up our lights. We're moving on to the next one. And I will say this: we were hitting $25,000 days between two crews, and we're doing that every day. It's not like we just did that one day, one day, one day. No, it's like we're bidding these jobs, premium jobs, and I'll repeat that in case anybody didn't hear that: $25,000 with two crews. Um, and the two crews are not 10-person crews. This isn't commercial. These are houses. This is two, three guys on each crew, and only two experienced people, myself and Ryan. The rest were brand new hires. Okay. And we're hitting $25,000 days. um, so there's a method to the madness. When you say you got 7 jobs and most of them were trees and it's $100 a tree, it's like that's not what we're preaching. I'm not trying to beat you up or anything. I just want to expose you to the fact that there's another way of doing this business, and it's called premium. And I did not understand premium until I got into the Christmas light industry. I got around guys who were super successful. And then, I said, look, that guy, look, I'm a goofball. If you guys can't tell right now, I can barely string 2 sentences together. I get distracted by every other thing that's walking around. I didn't go to college. I don't even look all that good. I got this big old beak on my nose. There's nothing special about me. But if I can make $25,000 a day, you could make 10. You know what I mean? If I can make 25, you could do 50. Yeah, but that's the way I looked at it. I was like, Jason's kind of a big goofball, and Fred is really a big goofball. If they can make $500,000, I'm a jackass. I'm a complete idiot if I don't make $500,000, right? That's sort of how I looked at it, and that's sort of how Jason and I are. We are down to earth, just honest. We'll give you the information for free, right, on how to do all this. But if you think that you could learn something, you think you want to support us, or you want to come to maybe you learn with your hands more than just listening to or watching a video or listening to a iTunes live or whatever, then or a podcast. That's what they call it. That's what the young whippersnappers these days are calling it, a podcast. Check out our in-person training. You go christmaslights.io. and you can go to in-person training. We'll have all the dates listed there. Within a week or two, we're going to have all of the dates listed there. We're going to be hosting them all across the country this year. So that way you can book the one that's closest to you. We'll put in the description if Jason or myself and Fred or at least one of us, hopefully two of us, will be at all of these trainings for the Christmas lights, and you can pick the one that's closest to you, and we'll go over all this stuff in in-depth detail. But just to reiterate, there's a big difference between $100 a tree or getting $2-3 a foot and having thousands and thousands of jobs. Quite frankly, anybody can do that. Where it comes to getting every dollar from a client. When it comes to, selling a job that everybody else in my city is selling them for $5.60 a foot. And there's a guy that comes into our group and I don't even want to say that, but there's a lot of people in my city that say that they're charging a whole lot and they're not. Okay.
And here's
When
the
I
thing too. I want to hit on this because this is just across the board. Donovan actually in the last couple of classes show you jobber of what is coming in and what is coming out. He's not. We're not. He's not telling you a bunch of crap at the end of the day and then just blowing it up. He actually opens jobber and you can see what he did and what he's done. This isn't, hey, I do this, and then you really don't do crap at the end of the day. This is somebody that's open, that's in business, that's doing it this year, that has premium pricing, that will show you the books that how they're getting premium pricing, and that's the thing that I give mad respect for Donovan because he don't have to do that, but when you see that, that is something that sets you apart from all the wannabes that want to sit out there and say, well, I do this, I do that. That is the big thing at the end of the day.
there's a reason why I go live with Jason every time he asks me to go live with him, and it's because there are a ton of people out there who have these marketing courses, who have these business coach classes, who get onto these Facebook groups or get onto YouTube, say that they're doing all this other type of stuff, and I start talking to them, and I get some behind the scenes information that's not shared publicly. And look, I'm still going live, teaming up, doing these classes with Jason for a reason. It's because he's an honest guy. He's built a business. He's sold a business. And now he's teaching other people how he did it. And he's not lying. There's so many other people that just straight up lie. I mean, it's not even bending the truth a little bit. It is a straight up lie. And there's a lot of people who bend the truth a lot. I mean, quite a bit. So, look, if you want to learn about business and you don't have a ton of money, keep watching our lives. Go to YouTube. I think Jason should have some links to YouTube. We don't need it. Jason and I don't need you to pay us. That's not why we're doing this. We want the industry to succeed, and we think that the more value we give away, that once you succeed, you'll choose to do business with us. And we got a ton of guys that's even said that. They've done six figures, and then they come to our class kind of to meet us, to shake our hand, to support our business and what we're trying to do, and to also learn a few of those gold nuggets to bring back and teach their guys. That's what we're kind of after. So if you need quality products, christmaslights.io. If you need some training, whether it be online or in person, christmaslights.io, you can go find our schedule there. I'll keep it real short. Ask me one good question. You see any? I can't see any of the comments. So
There isn't really nothing out
okay.
there. What's some knowledge or truth or what's before we jump off here? What's a word of advice for the day?
Um, go hug your family. Go refresh your why. Why are you going to do it? Why are you not doing it right now? But go figure out your why, because it don't matter how much you know. I could tell you there's a million people out there who have better knowledge about the Christmas light industry who never took any action because their why wasn't big enough, or they go do a couple of jobs and they're perfectly content. They're happier than I am doing 15 jobs, making an extra $20,000, and they're happier than I am right now because their why is different than my why. They're not trying to build a big, huge business. So my biggest piece of advice is go Go hug your family, go play with your dog, go, um, whatever, go to the Comic Con, whatever your why is, whatever you're really into, go figure that out, and um, then figure out how you can go get your why. Go figure out how you can go make your why better. So I'll share with you mine. I mean, my biggest one is I wanted my wife when I got married to have whatever she kind of wanted out of her priorities and her life. She wants 4 kids. I'm good with 4 kids. I originally thought that I wanted 2 kids, one boy, one girl. I had my very first girl, and then I was like, man, I could die a happy man tomorrow. I'm like, my life is complete with my first little girl. um, but my wife wants four kids, and now I'm just like, man, we can afford it. We'll just keep having them. Like, I'm good with that. Um, I personally love dog training, so I got my hey, Zeus, this is my husky right here. I don't know if you guys can see him. There we go.
Yeah.
Hey, buddy. But my hobby when I'm not working and stuff like that, my hobby is training dogs. So I really enjoy that. I want my kids, my wife, and everything to have the life that they want. Um, and that's my why. So for me, it's easy to put in an 18-hour day when I know that in January I could put in a 0-hour day. You know what I mean? Or I could go if there's a special dog training conference, I can afford it and I can set my own schedule and go do it. If my wife, if her mom is sick, she could go and spend, she could literally just go tomorrow or go tonight and figure it out. Like we could afford to do anything we wanted. So that's my why. Jason's why is pretty similar. It's his family and his kids. I'll tell you that right now. And if you're part of his Facebook page, that's very apparent. So that would be my parting advice. There's a reason for the season. Go figure out your why. Go charge premium pricing. Make a lot of money, and then when you make a lot of money, you can give back. And if that's part of your why, it'll just it'll be a symbiotic relationship.
Nope, I agree 100%. We're in the Christmas season, getting ready to be in the Christmas season. And, I think that this is the time of year of giving. And, I think it is more important to give than receive at the end of the day. And, I love hearing people. Obviously, I know right now there's some people that are having tough times. I know in the pressure washing world and some in the Christmas light world of, there is people that are having tough times, and I do give. And it's one of those things that giving. It's one of those things when you give, you can it will come back tenfold every time. And so I love giving information. I love I'm not just giving money. I give tipping. At this time of the year, I try to tip well. Our servers, and I just do. It's one of those things that if I can help somebody be a little bit better or have a little bit better day, that's what I try. And in the business world, I try to give you guys enough to that you can go as long as you're willing to take action, do the work, and make it happen. You can make $100,000 a year. You can make $300,000 a year. You can make $1 million a year. You can make 5 million a year. And as long as you're willing to do the work. And a lot of people this year have done the work, and I've seen the results of it. Donovan hit a 500,000. I'm pretty sure Jason is real close to a 500,000. I don't know where Paul is, but I'm sure he's probably not too far off of 250 or 500,000, just because I know his personality and how he is. And there's a lot of people that's done $50,000, $75,000 in Christmas lights alone. And so if you're willing to do the work, do the work. Don't be bashful. Give. That is the holiday seasons. It can be depressing sometimes. I know some people may have lost loved ones. Some people are struggling, stuff like that. And this is always for depression. This is the biggest year for depression. And that's where if you give to others, it will help your depression go away. It will. I promise you. It can suck this time of year, but family is not always fun. Family, it is what I do for my family. I love being with my family, and that's what it's what gives me joy. And so that's what makes me happy. So what I would tell you is just, give, and be positive. A lot of times we can get negative, and so having a positive attitude can go a long way. So thank you all for coming out. I don't know if we'll be back on next week. That's right before Christmas. But if not, I hope you all have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Don't do nothing stupid. Don't drink and drive. That kind of stupid stuff. I've seen people lose everything because they did one stupid thing, and it's not worth doing one stupid thing to lose everything. So we'll see you all later. Again, if you want to check out christmaslights.io, check it out, and hope you have a great night.
Adios.